Few movies have ever left audiences gasping quite like this one. A hammer, a hallway, a man locked away for 15 years with no explanation. When Oldboy hit theaters in 2003, it didn't just make waves, it changed cinema forever. Directed by Park Chan-wook, this South Korean revenge thriller became a global phenomenon, winning the Grand Prix at Cannes and shocking audiences around the world with its twist. A twist so wild, it's still talked about 2 decades later. But beyond the violence and vengeance was a deeply human story of loss, obsession, and the hunger for truth. And the cast who brought that story to life? They've each taken fascinating, unpredictable paths since that fateful day Oh Dae-su picked up his hammer. From fame and reinvention to quiet reflection, this is Oldboy 2003, then versus now 2025. Let's start with the man at the center of it all, Choi Min-sik, who played the tortured, vengeful Oh Dae-su. In 2003, Choi Min-sik was already one of Korea's most respected actors, known for his powerful performances in Shiri and Phelan. But Oldboy turned him into a global icon. His raw intensity, emotional chaos, and physical commitment were unmatched. That one-take hammer fight alone became legend. Overnight, Choi became the face of South Korean cinema's golden age, an actor fearless enough to go where few would dare. But even with the fame, Choi remained humble. He avoided Hollywood for years, rejecting roles that didn't align with his artistic values. Over the next 2 decades, he continued to dominate Korean film, starring in I Saw the Devil, The Admiral, Roaring Currents, which became Korea's highest-grossing film, and New World, another crime classic. By 2025, Choi Min-sik remains a towering figure, not just in Korea, but in world cinema. Known for his deep humanity and refusal to chase fame, he's the actor's actor, the man who turned pain into poetry and made revenge feel almost spiritual. Next, we have the woman whose mysterious role sent chills through audiences, Kang Hye-jung, who played Mido. When Oldboy premiered, Kang was only in her early 20s, a relative newcomer in the industry. But her performance was hauntingly mature, balancing innocence with trauma in a story that tested every emotional boundary imaginable. After Oldboy, Kang became one of Korea's most sought-after actresses, starring in Welcome to Damak and Rules of Dating. Critics adored her authenticity, calling her one of the most promising talents of her generation. Off-screen, her life was just as interesting. In 2009, she married Tableau from the legendary K-hip-hop group Epic High, a power couple that combined film and music royalty. Together, they became one of Korea's most beloved celebrity families, raising their daughter Haru, who even appeared on reality TV. But fame came with pressure. Kang took a step back from the spotlight in the mid-2010s to focus on family and personal growth. By 2025, she's returned to acting selectively, choosing roles that challenge rather than comfort. Her presence remains magnetic, proof that true talent never fades, even when it chooses peace over constant visibility. Now let's talk about the man behind the curtain, Ji-tae, who played the cold and calculating Lee Woo-jin, one of cinema's most unforgettable villains. In 2003, Ji-tae was already known for his model looks and thoughtful performances in films like One Fine Spring Day. But Oldboy changed everything. His portrayal of a man consumed by revenge, calm on the surface, broken within, became iconic. He wasn't just a villain, he was tragedy personified. Following Oldboy, Yu's career soared. He starred in hits like Antarctic Journal, Midnight FM, and Traces of Love. But perhaps most impressively, he transitioned into directing, proving he wasn't just a face, but a mind behind the camera. His short films and feature projects have earned international praise for their emotional depth. Off-screen, Ji-tae married actress Kang Hye-jung in 2011, and together they've become one of Korea's most respected artistic couples. Private, grounded, and philanthropic. By 2025, Ji-tae stands tall as both an actor and director, a craftsman who turned cinematic darkness into lifelong artistry. And then there's the visionary who brought this madness to life, Park Chan-wook. In 2003, Park was already a respected filmmaker in South Korea, but Oldboy made him a global force. Quentin Tarantino called it one of the best films he'd ever seen. Critics couldn't stop talking about Park's style, his painterly visuals, operatic violence, and ability to make even brutality look beautiful. After Oldboy, Park completed his Vengeance trilogy with Sympathy for Lady Vengeance before expanding into international cinema with Stoker and The Handmaiden. Each film pushed boundaries, mixing sensuality, horror, and social critique into something uniquely his. By 2025, Park Chan-wook has become a master of world cinema, joining names like Bong Joon-ho and Lee Chang-dong as part of South Korea's global filmmaking elite. His latest works continue to dazzle audiences, bold, artistic, and completely unpredictable. Of course, we can't forget Oldboy's massive impact, not just on film, but on culture itself. When it premiered at Cannes in 2004, the audience was stunned, gasping at the infamous twist ending, then erupting in a standing ovation. Western filmmakers like Tarantino, Scorsese, and Fincher cited it as an influence. It redefined what a thriller could be: poetic, violent, and deeply emotional all at once. The film's legacy even inspired Hollywood to attempt a remake in 2013, directed by Spike Lee and starring Josh Brolin. But let's be real, lightning doesn't strike twice. Critics and fans agreed nothing could match the intensity, precision, and heartbreak of the original. 22 years later, Oldboy still stands tall as a timeless masterpiece. The hallway fight scene remains one of the most studied sequences in film schools. The soundtrack still gives goosebumps, and its themes, vengeance, guilt, and fate, feel as powerful as ever. Let's fast forward to 2025 and see how it all came full circle. Choi Min-sik, the legend who transformed suffering into art, inspiring a new generation of actors. Kang Hye-jung, the quiet storm who chose family, peace, and authenticity over flash and fame. Ji-tae, the villain-turned-director whose artistry transcends the screen. And Park Chan-wook, the visionary whose fingerprints can still be seen on every modern thriller that dares to be bold. Together, they created something that wasn't just a movie, it was a movement. Now, tell me, whose transformation shocked you the most? Was it Choi Min-sik's artistic legacy, Kang Hye-jung's quiet reinvention, or Ji-tae's unexpected evolution behind the camera? Share your thoughts in the comments, hit that subscribe button, and ring the bell for more Hollywood Then and Now stories, because some films don't just age well, they carve their names into cinema forever.